It's poop it out. Poop it. All right, let's go. Poop it. All right. Did you see the 3 Streamo clips that were linked in your Twitch chat? Nope. I can double check them while I'm here. At least watch these clips. My Discord, not yours. All right, let's watch these clips. Take a look.
Anna was completely wrong. How do you not see that? I don't want to talk about who was right or wrong. It makes me severely uncomfortable that he could do what he did to her and then still have a relationship with her in any sense. And then I have my own criticisms of other things.
I actually saw you talk to Destiny for a bit.
It's my own personal criticisms.
You have a damn good mic.
You know. You were such a loser for bringing up Anna, a woman who was abusive towards him for years. Is that true? Because he publicly embarrassed her every chance he got for months, and now they have a sexual relationship.
That's not true.
Or they did.
Well, okay. But I was informed that this was a possibility.
And that's disgusting. So, I was on Destiny's side until Anna said...
It's not true that he publicly humiliated her at every opportunity that he got. The truth is that he tried a variety of strategies when engaging with her. But somebody told me, somebody told me, obviously it was inescapable, that they had an ongoing sexual relationship, which I am very interested in because I believe that to be very unethical on the face of it, if true.
It's disgusting.
It's very sexting relationship.
So, I was on Destiny's side until Anna said they were sexting while Destiny was calling her a stalker. Yep, so was I. The whole Anna situation was so extreme. He uses people for content and his own desires no matter what. He's so emotionally detached.
Ooh, I wanted to see her response to that comment. I really wish it didn't end there.
I did not allude to him being a Harvey Weinstein. But if the shoe fucking fits, I didn't even say those fucking words. But if you're thinking about it...
Okay, so you're saying it. Let's not be a coward about this. Let's be intent with what we're saying. Okay, great. Okay. Let's take a look. Even if I have disagreements, which I do with him, if he's currently sexting or has been recently sexting Anna, I do not believe it's a Harvey Weinstein situation.
How do we treat men in positions of power like this? Does it remind you of any stories that were in the news? How do you think that we should react to someone with a big platform sleeping with people in the same way that he does?
This is my issue. Stop Pepe posting. You have a man in a position of power, i.e. he just has clout in the same arena that another person has less clout. Him just sleeping with people isn't intrinsically unethical. This is a ridiculous thing. We need to... Lav is, again, doing the thing where she's just putting something out there that intuitively sounds whatever, but as soon as she tries to explain it or would be put into a position where she'd have to, she is going to start crumbling and falling back and falling back and falling back. Destiny is a man with a lot of influence, and he has sex with people who have very little influence. Does this mean that nobody with influence can fuck anybody who doesn't have influence? Like Drake can't fuck a nobody chick or date a nobody chick? That's just not something he can do. Like, this is a ridiculous precedent to set. So you need to establish some kind of ethical guidelines for how this needs to work. But she's completely not done it. She's just Pepe posted.
How should we react?
I'm curious what they find to be sexting for a year. I was just told that it might have been happening. And if it has been happening, I would agree it's unethical. I think every single bit of information not only Destiny has put out, but other individuals have put out around Destiny and that Destiny has not effectively combated, i.e. like, I think even Abon Preach's video calling Anna crazy and shit like that. You know, obviously 80+% of the Destiny Orbiterverse calling Anna crazy or deranged or something. If he had actually legitimately been sexting her recently and actually doing that, I would consider that to be my Discord, not yours. I would consider that unethical for sure. It is an unethical thing to do.
How do we...
Okay. Those are the 3 clips I was told to watch. All right, let's watch the VOD. What the hell is that? Offline Twitch chat represent. Are we talking about Anna Frills now? Correct. Anna Frills, the crazy Anna. Last 3 months is what Max said. We need proof. That's the problem. Mr. Girl went behind D's back to contact females that D has any contact with to try and solicit them to speak about D abusing them. Mr. Girl also kept calling D an abuser. Is that betrayal? No, it is not. So I was alluded to that might have been the case. I don't believe that's, I think that's par for the course. I disagree with Lav, and it seems like Mr. Girl's narrative that they're like Destiny is like a Weinstein, he has all this power, but I do not believe it's inappropriate to inquire into Destiny's past sexual relationships to find out if they were ethical or not. I think to do to call it betrayal is unethical. To imply that it is wrong is unethical. That's, at least with the information I have right now, with what I've just been presented, I would say that's unethical. Of course, you can look into whether or not Destiny's past relationships are ethical or unethical. Multiple people have tried, multiple people have failed to prove that he's been unethical in his past relationships. That's the reason why I do not find him engaging with the women that I knowingly, that we have information that he knowingly has engaged in sex with or romantic relationships is, it's not worthy of criticism to him, because I've seen nothing that goes and meets to such standard. How'd you link me Mr. Girl's thing about getting banned on YouTube? Definitely flirtatious, but not sexting. Doesn't matter. Same rules would apply. But calling him an abuser before having proof that he has abused anyone is considered wrong. Well, that you would assume. It depends on the context that he's doing it, in the places that he's doing it, and it depends on the information he has. So when he talks about, hold on. Okay, hello? My OBS crashed. That weird, I had a weird ping and my OBS crashed. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just telling you with the information I have right now. We'll watch the VOD. We'll get a better scope of what's going on.
Okay. This
Max can't sit here and demand he be treated as Destiny's friend while actively trying to undermine his personal relationships. I'd have to see how he's actively trying to do that. I think investigating whether or not Destiny's past relationships have been abusive is a perfectly fine and a morally, it is something that Destiny has to recognize is going to be a lived experience of him if he continues to fuck people inside of his orbit. That is going to happen. Because the idea that Destiny does have sway over these people's career, he's not a Weinstein, he's not their employer. I think Max and Lab take it way too far when they say his culpability inside of that situation. But he does absolutely have sway and influence over these people's career. And so I think looking into whether or not there's an abuse of power there is completely legitimate. Yeah. So yeah, presented with this. Stephen has been sexting with Anna constantly for a year. I would need more logs because there seems to only be this one. This runs contradictory to public narrative about her and was disturbing to learn from her. I'm investigating other claims about his behavior as I feel I've participated in an abusive system. I'm going live soon. Oh, you're at TwitchCon. Are you allowed to go in to be with Melina? Did they not let you because you're banned? Not just hanging out with people and going to parties. Ooh, them Twitch parties have a bad rep, lol. Damn, guess I should have gone to TwitchCon after all, haha. OMG, sneaking off to a room with you. Okay. So we see that. My issue is, like, that is on its face, in my opinion, unethical. There is a clear established pattern of behavior from this individual that they cannot engage in healthy behavior with Stephen, perhaps in healthy sexual behavior with any online public figure, but definitely with Stephen. I think engaging with her in a flirtatious capacity is inappropriate with the amount of information that we have, with the public image, like Max alluded to, that Anna has. But that being said, there is some excuses for why he might do this. I don't think they're very legitimate in most cases, but I don't know what his response would be to this, and I'm assuming he responds to it in this. I don't know if this came out after this. But hold on, this was 12 hours ago this started. This is right about 11 hours ago. How about triggering Anna into a loop while inquiring about Stephen and telling Anna that Stephen will go nuclear on her? Mr. Girl mediated an interaction between Anna and D. Do you think that is unethical? What? How about triggering an Anna into a loop while inquiring about Stephen? Inquiring about Stephen and telling Anna that Stephen will go nuclear on her? Assuming that is true, I would say that is unethical.
This situation actually really sucks. Generally, we're going to go back. Let me take you back a few months. Generally, when I meet people online, there is very limited interaction that I have at such a level to where if I couldn't cut a person
Roxy,
off,
I don't care.
Wouldn't care. It's incredibly rare. There's like 3 people in my life where it would affect me. But after a few months ago, I had a tumultuous interpersonal thing that happened. And I was like, okay, well, here's like a lesson I think that I've learned for myself. I'm going to reach out and talk to more people offline to try to have more like...
Isn't Mr. Girl's basis for even investigating this a little bit suspect? I do not care. I do not care. So a woman comes forward, let's say a woman comes forward and wants to investigate as to whether or not a man has been engaging in continuous sexual misconduct. And the reason why they're investigating is because they're spiteful towards that man not, I don't know, wanting to sleep with them. I don't care. What I care about is the claims. You understand that's supposed to be the principle that we abide ourselves by, right? It doesn't matter why claims are being levied. What matters is the legitimacy of those claims. And if those claims are found illegitimate, then we start talking about the basis with it. You understand? Right? Or either are found to be illegitimate or found to not have any kind of concrete evidence. If the evidence is not concrete, no logs or anything, and it's just word of mouth, then we take into the character of the individual. But is somebody coming forward and be like, here are the logs, here's the evidence of some misconduct. It doesn't matter if they're a spiteful ex, it doesn't matter if they're a crazy person. What matters is the logs. That's a principle that we should hold ourselves to. It does not matter. If there is hard evidence, don't care. I do not give a fuck if Mr. Girl like screwed every single person in Destiny's or tried to screw every single person in Destiny's orbit and then was not able to do it and got jealous of Steven and that's the reason why he's doing it. I don't care why he's doing it. If he brings hard data, hard logs, that's all we should be concerned with. That's it. But in the event that there isn't hard data and it is a matter of fact, his character is in question as to whether or not the information is legitimate, then we can start having a conversation about that. So until I see that, until I see it's just Mr. Girl's word versus Destiny, I'm not going to, I do not think it matters, no.
Human friendly-ish type relationships.
You're gonna watch Mr. Girl's VOD later, perhaps?
That's what human beings do. Maybe it'd be good for me. And one of those people was our good friend Max. And another one of those people, because I'm going to reach out and talk to more people offline to try to have more like human friendly-ish type relationships. Because that's what human beings do. Maybe it'd be good for me. And one of those people was our good friend Max. And another one of those people, before she became a streamer, was Lav. Spoke with her like a few months ago. She wasn't really into the whole streaming thing, so I didn't really think much of it. It's like, oh, random person I've spoken to before, or whatever. And yeah, yikes. So where do we even begin? What happened? Am I crazy to think that Lav has hope? So here's the issue. I don't have perfect transparency. Okay. I don't normally make... So here's something that I've learned in my life, okay? One of the reasons why I think I am quite intelligent and quite good at dealing with people generally...
What are you talking about, Angelica?
The extent of my knowledge on a person. So like...
Ahrelevant, is the Lav hate now justified? I don't know. I haven't seen the information.
I might say or think that I have a person like 90% figured out, but I'll really only act on like 50% because like truly you don't know. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I've mind read you completely. I figured you out 100%, blah, blah, blah. Usually I get an inkling, ask more questions, interact with somebody more. If somebody would ever ask me, and I've said this a lot on stream before, if somebody asks me, how do you know if you truly know a person? How long do you need? Like I can do it in 10 minutes and some people can do it in hours. Usually what I say is, well, if I've gone through like a really big situation with somebody and they could have fucked me over or not, then I'll know like what that person's like. That's generally like my approach. I usually wait to see till big situations happen and then I kind of get like a handle on what people truly are like. So that being said, generally when I'm like reading people on stream, I'm usually pretty...
He's a bit quiet compared to you?
Reserved in what I'm saying.
Okay.
I usually don't give like all of my thoughts on those people. Just because I don't know 100% and because just whatever. But I'm going to be a little bit more candid with my impressions now. I don't actually think that Lav or Anna or Shaylin are that much in the wrong. I think that Max is actually like a full-on narcissistic manipulator who's abusive to every single person in his orbit. Probably worse than any other person I've ever seen in my entire life.
I think this is just a to-the-moment thing. That'd be crazy statement.
I kind of got that inkling over the Shaylin videos, but truthfully, I'm willing to extend like, well, maybe there's stuff I'm not seeing. Maybe there's something I don't understand. Yeah, you know, like maybe there's something going on behind the scenes or whatever.
Wait, was that his Discord?
Something I don't understand. Yeah, you know, like maybe there's something going on behind the scenes or whatever. So I'm like willing to wait for data to come in, but especially watching him interact with Lav on his stream and then seeing how Lav has changed her disposition and then seeing the types of messages that Anna sends me now and then hearing about what Shaylin is saying on Chud Logic's stream, now I understand way more like what's going on. That Max has a certain impression. He's able to emotionally abuse or gaslight or manipulate people around him into feeling a certain way. And he draws them in such an unbelievably effective way that he can get them to feel almost whatever he wants them to. And I think that he's done that now with people in his immediate orbit. So where do we go? It didn't work on you though. Well, because obviously I'm not manipulatable. Not like that, okay? trying to think of the order I want to do this in. Let me put together what I think.
I don't know. I haven't seen the Dole review or whatever thing that people say was like evidence of him abusing Shaylin. And I also haven't seen the Chud Logic interview, so.
What I think Max's mind looks like. Okay? This is what I think. I think that Max is extremely narcissistic. And when I say narcissistic, what I mean by that is I don't know if Max can ever be wrong about anything. I don't know if he ever sees himself as being in the wrong. I think that if something happens and it is wrong, it's because other people either don't understand or other people are trying to abuse him or other people are making mistakes that just puts them outside of the ability to understand what's going on inside of his head. I've noticed this conversationally when he talks to people. He seems unwilling to ever back off a read he has on somebody. And I've noticed this when it comes to settling interpersonal drama with the stuff with Lex Friedman or that professor that he blew up on his stream or that he blew up on Twitter. It seems like he can't ever take any kind of feedback there. And I've noticed it, there was one more thing I was going to say. I think, what was I going to say? Professionally. It happens interpersonally. It happens during conversations. We're going to get to me. That where, anytime something negative happens, it's always some other person's fault. It's always like another person that's making these mistakes. So I think the scary thing is that in Max's mind, Max is the hero of his own world and nothing can get in the way of that. Like if he's on a mission, if he's on a crusade, he has to, like, he's the only one that can like be tasked with figuring things out. And if you misunderstand, you just have to talk to like his most loyal fans. So they'll tell you, you're not smart enough to understand if you don't otherwise, right? So, damn, I'm trying to think of how much I can even say. A few days ago, I started to get a whole bunch of messages from people saying that, I'm not going to say who, but it's been a lot of people that have been reaching out to me saying that Max has been contacting every single woman I've ever had in my Discord in the background, and a whole bunch of men trying to get lists of women that I've ever spoken to. And in his mind, he's built up this idea that I have essentially the following fetish. That I approach a woman, I float the idea of her being on my stream if she fucks me, I fuck the woman, then I bring her on stream and I have my entire fan base attack her because I get off on that, and then I run her out of my community. And I think he's built almost this entire narrative off of mining Anna, the Anna, personally for stories and information. I don't know when they started talking, but I think that he's really good at talking to people and building them up in the ways that they want to be built up so that he can get the information from them that they want to give him. And yeah, him and Anna have been talking a lot in the background. He's got this archetype or narrative in his head for how I treat women on my stream. And he's also got Lav, who I guess Lav revealed that we hooked up. Now you know how fucking irritating it was every time she would claim that I'm only defending a woman because we hooked up with them, blah, 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 but I can't be public about the fact that we hooked up.
Yeah, Allah. That was something that was communicated to me, that kind of contradiction as well. And that I felt like was really manipulative from Lav for her right there. And I'll back over it because he just breezes over it. But I think that's really important.
Yeah, him and Anna have been talking a lot in the background. He's got this archetype or narrative in his head for how I treat women on my stream. And he's also got Lav, who I guess Lav revealed that we hooked up. Now you know how fucking irritating it was every time she would claim that I'm only defending a woman because we hooked up with them, blah, 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 but I can't be public about the fact that we hooked up.
Lav would claim that, oh yeah, you're defending people because you slept with them. But in reality, they had slept together. And so why, by that logic, would Desi not defend? It's cringe and like genuinely 50 IQ, like she has to have right about 50, like sub room temperature IQ play, or it's just unbelievably manipulative. So you either can believe she's beyond stupid, like perhaps a bit clinical, maybe not somebody you can actually engage in a sexual relationship with, they're that stupid, or she was just being manipulative. And so, yeah, I think, I don't know, more evidence onto the pile that she's not a smart person. Just putting that out there. More evidence that I'm not saying she's dumb and that's like, it's just whatever. Well, it is evidence of her being possibly stupid in that, right? But it's more evidence against the claim that she's just not a smart woman. Or she's quite smart and she's just a piece of shit. It's either one. You pick, dealer's choice. I don't have to deal with it because I don't think she's smart.
So between him, Lav, and Anna, now he has in his head, he's built up this archetype in his head of this is what Steven does to people. I've got 2 women here who maybe feel abused or mistreated by his community. And then what he's doing is he's trying to find every other girl that I've spoken to see if he could get like similar stories out of them. Now, I don't know how many women he's talked to so far, 10 or 20 or 30 or more. I know that he's been trying desperately to get in contact with people like Denims and Bad Bunny. I know that he's like messaged a ton of people asking for lists of women that I've spoken to. I know that when I found this out 2 days ago, I started going down my list of friends and right-clicking and doing the properties, and I suddenly started to notice that Mr. Girl was mutual friends with every single girl on my friends list that I've like ever spoken to. And I think what he's doing, and I can't prove this, I don't know, but if anybody wants to come forward to share, I think what he's doing is he's calling all of these people in the background, and I think that he's asking them through long conversations or trying to convince them that I'm doing something improper or wrong. This is extra frustrating.
Well, do we have any evidence that he's trying to convince them that there is that Destiny is doing something wrong? Do we have any evidence of that outside of a possible? I don't even know if we have a pattern of behavior to establish here. Do we have any evidence of that ever happening? Like him privately reaching out to women and convincing them that Destiny's interaction with them is wrong? Yeah, we have evidence. Where? Logs are mentioned? Okay, well, let's keep going.
Frustrating for a few different reasons.
Let's see.
One is because there are some people that Mr. Girl, I think, can only confront because of very personal and very private information that I've told him. So he's taken that information and he's basically used it to lie to other people or attack me in the background, which is very frustrating because it's very rare that I share a secret with somebody. I don't have very many. So that's one thing that's very irritating. And then 2, because I think I was genuinely like a pretty good friend to Max and Lav, although I guess they both don't feel that way because my subreddit shit on them for a while. But like, yeah, I'm not sure. I guess in the future, I need to write like strict rules for, how people are going to interact with me on stream or something, because I guess if the subreddit is mean to them for a few days, they're going to lose their fucking minds. But yeah. That entire fucking stream with Erudite was fucking disgusting, where he's pushing you to share shit with him to prove that you love him. Yeah, it's pretty weird. But I think at the end of the day, I think that he's just like, again, highly narcissistic, highly manipulative, and yeah, that's just what he does. How many different people did you confirm that he contacted? I'm not going to release numbers because I don't really want him to know what I know. Is he doing this because of the subreddit stuff? I don't really know what flipped the switch in his mind. Do you have any evidence or receipts? I have a ton of evidence and a ton of receipts, of course. I'm not going to go public with something like this with somebody that shady without obviously having some idea.
All right, let's see him. Let's go. That's what we came here for. I don't give a fuck about the back and forth character thing. Well, I mean, if there was no receipts or whatever, we can, of course, do analysis without receipts. It's often how sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, sexual assault claims go, is there's usually no hard receipts. So we can, of course, read between the lines, make character assertions and shit like that. But hard evidence is king.
Actually going on in the background. I don't really want to quote any of these in particular because I don't want him to know who sent me stuff, but he's used phrases alluding to the fact that I like very carefully choose which women I want to victimize. He's repeated.
Can we see with the name blurred out?
This pattern that like my goal is to abuse women by bringing them on stream and having my community make fun of them after I fucked them. You had Lav today alluding to the fact that I guess I'm Harvey Weinstein on stream because I have sex with a lot of people that come through my community, which I mean I do, but the way that I always kind of saw it going in my head is if anybody ever tried to Me Too me,
yeah, I'm having a moral conflict with the idea of doing a call to action for likes on this stream because I think it's a very serious stream. It feels kind of weird to go, hey, you know, two people that, you know, are pretty important figures inside of this space are having a very big implosion of their lives. Now is a good time to call for you to like the stream so that way my stream grows. That feels a bit odd to me. I'm not sure of the ethics or the I'm not sure about the ethics of that. Like I'm not sure how I feel about that. So that's the reason I haven't done it. So yeah, we're just gonna keep doing it.
All I would ever say to that person is like,
Farm it? I'm not that type of dude.
listen, oh, you think I was improper? Okay, well, leak all of our DMs. Or if you don't want to, I will leak our entire DM history. Hey, listen, is if anybody ever tried to Me Too me, all I would ever say to that person is like, hey, listen, oh, you think I was improper? Okay, well, leak all of our DMs. Or if you don't want to, I will leak our entire DM history. Because I always figure that, like obviously, I usually have really candid conversations about like my expectations for people, like sexually or whatever. So like here, like for instance, these are messages that I sent back to Lav in August, okay? Early August. I don't know how many months ago that is. So like I'll literally say things like, oh, hey, just because you've been on stream more and whatnot, I know we've had some kind of sexual conversations in the past, but you being on my stream or the way that I interact with you never has anything to do with any of that kind of stuff. Just being clear on that. She says something and I say, I'm just saying, don't feel like any of your interactions are contingent on anything like that. You're fine doing whatever. Just don't want you to feel like I'm keeping you around for anything related to sex, etc. Like I usually have very, very, very explicit conversations with almost everybody about stuff like this. I'll say it. I've said it a million times. If anybody out there, any woman ever feels like I'm being improper, feel free to like show in DMs where I'm pressuring you or grooming you or doing any weird shit like that. Those DMs don't exist because it doesn't happen. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about when it comes to Max is because he's so manipulative. The struggle that I have is that I think he probably could get like 2 or 3 girls like fucked out of their head and like try to get them on stream. It's like, oh yeah, actually, you know, when I think about this, this kind of feels like really bad because his community made fun of me or some shit. And even if I have a really good response, if I get like 3 or 4 girls in a row that all have these types of like emotional stories, it just makes me look bad no matter what. I will say that it's extra frustrating that Max is trying to do to me basically what Cherry and Stardust did to him, except on a much lesser level, where he like talks to people, hypes them up, tries to convince them that they were abused, and then tries to get them out. I also think it's really gross that despite me and Anna's past...
Well, just to be clear, if this is the narrative, so assuming Destiny can prove sufficiently with hard evidence, because I don't count just saying what he said as hard evidence. I would need to see the logs with the name blurred out or whatever. But I would need to see the logs exchanged, and I would consider that hard enough evidence. Assuming he has that hard evidence, I would say it's worse, because at least in Cherry and Stardust's case, there didn't seem to be another individual trying to convince them that their situation was sexual harassment or was manipulative. You could argue that, I believe there's arguments as to whether or not Cherry did that to Stardust or whatever, but I don't have that information available to me. I didn't see anything to that effect, so I'm not going to speak on it. But I would say that it is worse to try and convince somebody else of a sexual interaction that they have had, that it wasn't consensual or was inappropriate or unjust in a manipulative fashion. So if Destiny has evidence of manipulation towards these women that he has interacted with from Mr. Girl, if he has evidence of manipulation, that Max is manipulating these women into believing that Destiny was sexually abusing them or performed sexual misconduct, I would say that is worse than the Cherry Stardust conversation, because in Cherry and Stardust's case, they came to that conclusion on their own, and they made a mistake. They took an L. Everybody recognized that they made a mistake. That's human, right? But convincing another person through active manipulation, if provable, active manipulation is far more insidious. It has to be intentional. If you have evidence of manipulation, it's intentional.
Shit, me and Anna have been like relative.
He meant that what we did wasn't as bad, and what Max is doing is worse. He corrects that later. Oh, I've seen the logs, and he ain't lying about the manipulation, at least with the main party. What do you mean the main party?
Chill, I think, for like the past year. I haven't had any complaints about her, no problems or whatever.
Would you say that Mr. Girl may be reaffirming slander on Destiny, maybe intentional, maybe intentionally or unintentionally? I don't know. It depends. I have to see the manner in which Mr. Girl is contacting these women. That's what it comes down to. I have no issue with any individual genuinely and considerately looking into Destiny's past sexual relationships with the women he's been sexual with and inquiring as to whether or not it is ethical. I think in some cases it might be good to do this, to keep individuals who do have positions of high social status in check with their past sexual relationships, especially when they're so frequent with people in close proximity. If I was in a room with Destiny right now, I'd make a simple claim, right? Individuals looking into your past sexual history with people you have such close proximity with is something that you should know is going to happen. You're a grown-ass 30-year-old man interacting with people that are inside of your social orbit and have a deep connection with you, not only socially, but also when it comes to their potential career and their success on a platform. People investigating whether or not it is ethical or unethical is not only, it's obvious that that's going to happen, one, but also two, I would say it's good to have that investigation occur. But, of course, it must be in an ethical way. So if there's evidence of manipulation from Max's end, evidence of coercion or trying to make Destiny seem unjustly like he is in a sexually abusive, sexually manipulative position, then that's where my problem would arise. Not simply at inquiring this. So that's where I stand. If somebody wants to inquire about Destiny's past sexual relationships and the ethical conduct of it, you have my blessing. You have my blessing. Because the situation, the sexual situations that Destiny has been in can be ripe for manipulation. They can be. They can be ripe for misconduct. There is potential for severe harm. So if it wants to be investigated, it wants to be investigated. But you have to do it the right way. Anna, got it. RTBA. Official video just dropped of this OB, his channel. This is his channel. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Oh, this? I'm assuming I'm just going to continue watching this, right?
I think she did bad shit in the past.
Lav already walked back on everything. Mr. Girl just lost his only other person who backed him. What? How did... We'll get to it, I'm assuming. Consider watching Mr. Girl's stream first. I believe it's shorter, and he goes over some of the ways he contacted people. We might go over that. There ain't no way. Take a look. Dude, I'm hardly a fan of Destiny, but who he may or may not sex with is his business, assuming it's consensual. This is very tacky to attack him with. There are so many legit things to critique him over. Why go into his private sex life? Okay, so I'm going to state something in response to this. I think with the public characterization that Destiny, as well as other people inside of his sphere, have made about Anna, I don't believe there should be any sexual or flirtatious contact between Destiny and Anna. Now, there could be certain circumstances where this could be seen as justified, but on its face, this is unethical. That is my opinion. On the face of it, Destiny interacting with Anna in a flirtatious manner is an unethical thing to do. It is not something that should be ethically allowed. And I think that is the easiest claim to make out of any, and I could easily defend that to anybody. Now, could Destiny mount an excuse for why it is legitimate? Of course. I don't know what that would look like, but he is. I'm about to get so much pussy off of this. What the fuck is this tweet? Oh, this tweet was like a minute ago. But why would you say that's fine for a friend that hasn't reached out to you privately? What do you mean? Why not? I understand keeping a neutral stance is speculation, but IMO Destiny wouldn't nuke with no evidence, right? That doesn't matter. As much as I want to say, yeah, I recognize that Destiny often doesn't come to these situations empty-handed and shit like that, because that's his history. Like I said, he's gone. I think there's like 5 or 6 different people that have tried this same exact thing. Oh, Destiny's a sexually abusive, what was it? The Trail of Coom? Like multiple different people have tried this, and every single one of them have failed. And I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with my biases. I believe this is going to be another one that fails. I'm just going to be, if there was dirt to be had on Destiny, I think it would have come up the 5 or 6 different times other people have tried. I don't think this is going to be the moment that we make a breakthrough on any kind of idea like that. That's my personal opinion. But my personal opinion must be divorced away from the reality, which is that we have to investigate all claims of sexual misconduct with any evidence that's presented when the evidence is presented. That's the way that it is. He's a public figure. He actively fucks people inside of his social orbit. So he knows that what he is doing, which is Every time he continues this behavior, he is opening himself up to this loop over and over. He is opening himself up to this loop. When he fucked Lav, he knew he was opening himself up to this loop. When he possibly sexted Anna, he knew he was opening himself up to this loop. This is something that he is actively doing. He's a 30-year-old man. He's not 15 years old. So this is something that he of course has to be ready to deal with. Now, again, in an ethical way. And if it is conducted in an unethical way, of course he doesn't have to be okay with it. And we shouldn't be okay with it if it's done in an unethical way. That's my claim.
I've done bad shit in the past, but I haven't really had any problems with her for I don't know, for like a year or more. But Max has been talking to her a lot in the background now, and I noticed that she's starting to echo a lot of what Max has told her to me.
You missed a dono in YouTube from Rookie in the well, yeah, I went back on that. RTBA is implying he didn't leak it. Oh, hold up, I missed a $20 dono as well. Sorry, I was ranting. If Max genuinely notices a predatory pattern in Destiny's sex life, shouldn't Max flip on Destiny? IMO, Max is just mentally ill. Yeah, but so I don't disagree with you. I don't think anyone does, Mike Amazing. If genuinely Mr. Girl believes that Destiny is interacting with women in a sexually unethical way, that is fine and legitimate. That's what I'm trying to preserve as a something that can happen. Because genuinely, it feels like there are some people that are saying that Mr. Girl is out of line for even investigating or going behind Destiny's back and investigating these situations. If you believe somebody is sexually abusive to people inside of their social orbit, are you going to be like, yo, you know what? I'm just going to tell this person that's what it is and that's how it's going to go. Can you do that? For sure. But there's also a route that I believe is completely legitimate where you ask and inquire from these individuals privately first, the individuals that you believe are victims, privately first, to be able to figure it out. But this all assumes, again, you do it in an ethical fashion, that you're not like DMing these people and initially going, by the way, when Destiny sexually assaulted you, how did that make you feel? Like, you're not doing shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I want to preserve the ability to look into, especially individuals of high social status or high positions of authority. I want to preserve the ability to look into possible sexual misconduct claims, even if I believe it comes from a position that may not be the soundest, as long as there's evidence provided. Mr. Girl and Lav are bad faith actors. They're not doing this because they have concern. They're self-motivated snakes. That does not matter. This is what I'm talking about. Almighty Pixel, that doesn't matter. I can believe they are the most insidious rat fucks in the world. Degenerate scumbag troglodytes. I can believe that with every fiber of my being. If they have hard evidence, it's inconsequential. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're doing it for the most terrible, worst reasons in the world. If they have hard evidence, they have hard evidence. And you can do nothing about that but cope. All right? So that's all I'm saying. Look at the evidence. And if there is a moment where you have to take character versus character, and you have to make a character assessment because there isn't enough hard evidence to come to a conclusion, that's when you take into account that specific perspective. But until that happens, all of the evidence is out, realistically, that each party has to give. Try to look at it through a neutral stance of where you're at.
And to other people in DMs. So basically her, Max,
then why did Lav walk it back so quick? Because Lav isn't smart. Lav is not a smart woman. She says shit and then fucking goes back on it. Like, it's not out of... Lav says stupid shit, then goes back on it 3 minutes later. We've been establishing this over months, okay? My Discord, not yours. We've established this already. She doesn't know what the fuck she's going to say in one sentence and then what she's going to say in the next 24 hours, okay? Like, she is exactly what people in my chat are doing. She's an uncredible actor. In 1 second, he's Harvey Weinstein, and the next, he's the god Stephen Bennell. Like, it's just unreliable shit. If she has hard evidence, logs or whatever to provide, so be it. But as a character witness, she is fucking the last person on earth I would ever come up to for a character assessment. What a ridiculous... No, absolutely not.
Have been running around in DMs in the background, basically talking to a ton of people to try to see if there are people that I've like sexually abused or manipulated or anything like that. But do you regret giving Mr. Girl a career?
Just dropped? Where did this drop from? Do you seriously think it's sexting that leads to drama? The only person I ever showed Mr. Girl that I even showed Mr. Girl that The only reason I even showed Mr. Girl that screenshot is because he said it will help people to see that I'm not a stalker. But now your community seems to like me again. Keep this private, okay, please, because Max scares the shit out of me. You need to keep this private. He's insanely manipulative. Like, holy shit, the amount of coercion he's putting on me to send him a screenshot of our sexting was insane. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before. Yeah, I know. He's got you and Lav twisted into the this idea that I'm running around sexually manipulating and abusing people on stream. I would need more context for this, because I imagine a narrative genuinely that Mr. Girl can draw. If I'm trying to be as neutral as possible towards this, we're going to read this, I guess. This is somewhat public now. Yeah. Destiny leaked it in DGG. Okay. Do you seriously think it's... We're going to reread it. Do you seriously think it's the sexing that leads to the drama? The only reason I even showed Mr. Girl the screenshot was because he said it would help people to see that I'm not a stalker. But now your community seems to like me again. I don't think that's true, but... it doesn't really matter. Keep this private, okay, please, because Max scares the shit out of me. You need to keep this private. He's insanely manipulative, like, holy shit. The amount of coercion he is putting on me to send him screenshots of our sexting is insane. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before. Yeah, I know. He's got you and Lav twisted into the idea that I'm running around sexually manipulating and abusing people on stream, lol. I feel like under certain contexts, this response Desi made could be seen as manipulative and shit like that. So I want more context for the greater conversation, because, you know, there's genuinely a context where that could be the case, but at the moment there's nothing wrong with this, but with further context it could be bad, but we'll just keep reading. He has Lav totally manipulated. I don't think you're sexually manipulating anyone. I think when you called Lav a stupid bitch, that was a bit abusive, but not in the way Max is making out to be, like you're this intentionally sadistic psycho. I also think Max was exaggerating the amount of people who are calling me a stalker to get me to think it's like everyone in Twitch poll to get that screenshot from me. I think probably 80% of, maybe not a stalker, but I think like 80% of Twitch poll probably think she's crazy. It was a 3-hour voice call that I had with him, and Shaylin and I broke down. Shaylin and I broke down and sent him that screenshot at the very end. I had told him no a million times, but I just broke down at the end. So this is supposed to be the logs of evidence that Mr. Girl is being manipulative to try and get dirt on Destiny. I wouldn't lead with this because of Anna Vor's past with referring to Steven as sexually manipulative or whatever. So I don't think having her say that she's being manipulated by Mr. Girl is a great... I don't find... This isn't the character witness I would use if I was trying to make a strong case. But it's one that absolutely contributes. If there's more evidence of this, then yeah. But I mean, we've straight up seen logs that look identical to this of her saying that Destiny was sexually manipulative, and then Destiny would bring her on his stream and then talk to her about it, and then she'd be like, no, like the stealthing thing, right? Whereas like, oh yeah, I said this, but that's not really what I meant. That's not really what I like. So she can back down on it. So I wouldn't pick Anna as the character witness to be able to make such a claim. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anna is the strongest person for Mr. Girl? No, Lav is. The evidence for Anna isn't a solid character with, right? She's the only witness? That's not true. Destiny is making the claim that Mr. Girl is reaching out to multiple different women. I'm assuming by multiple different women, he means more than just Anna. And so there presumably could be evidence of more than just Anna getting messages that are really fucking weird. Hot off the press is the irritating thing about everything is that me and Anna are legitimate. Wait, what is this? Okay. Oh, that's what RTBA linked me. I didn't notice that. Destiny leaked some logs to Anna to give context. Yeah, I wouldn't lead with Anna as a character witness, but she definitely can compound. I think Destiny got heated because he realized Melina was going to find out about the messages. I don't know shit about that. Also, again, as I stated previously, I don't care. Destiny so far, as I've seen, Now, maybe Mr. Girl would come with more. Destiny has presented the most hard evidence, and that's what I care about. I care about hard evidence. If Destiny is a sexually abusive, manipulative person, there should be logs or some kind of hard evidence to prove it, character witnesses to prove it. There should be enough information to indict him. We've been through this loop 5 or 6 times. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think this is going to be the fucking silver bullet for some reason, whatever, but yeah. Unless we're talking about specifically the conduct he had with Anna, because if, again, Destiny is being flirtatious with, he said 5? I didn't know how many. If there is evidence of Destiny currently being flirtatious with Anna, he needs, in my opinion, one hell of an excuse for that, because I believe that is unethical. There was a stream Discord call with Lav and Mindwaves about the drama. I don't know where the clip starts. When did this happen? 5 hours ago? Good Lord, what the fuck is this? Holy shit! Oh my God, what the fuck? What is that cancer? Jesus, man! Like fucking every single person on Twitch is in this fucking call. There's like 30 people. Hold on, I don't know why I'm watching this on the second monitor.
I asked in the first place.
Okay.
Because she reached out to him first, dude.
I reached out to Anna. She told me that they were still texting, or they were still sexting. And then I told Max because I was like, holy shit, this is fucked up. And then they had a conversation that lasted for hours on their own.
Damn, nigga, don't ever tell nobody shit, bro. Don't ever tell nobody shit. God damn.
And then they had like a whole other thing that I was just not involved in.
So and I think it's not mostly that. I think Max also had like a hunch. Max had like a hunch of, like this was actually happening with Destiny's Orbiters.
No, that's not true. Because like 2 weeks ago, or no, a week ago, he was on stream saying, Lav, don't worry about it. If one person is painted as an abuser completely, you should just leave it alone. So he didn't even think to inquise about it then. It seems like things are...
What? Wait, what did they just say? I don't even understand what they just said. Full VOD for that Discord call? I mean, I guess it could be relevant. I don't know. Obviously, it's going to come after this Destiny VOD if it's going to come after anything. I think my Discord, not yours. I think the first thing that's going to come after the Destiny call, if anything, would be the Mr. Girl. Or sorry, not Destiny call. The Destiny video would be the Mr. Girl video, obviously. I think that would be the natural next step, but yeah.
I'm actually really surprised at this. I'm not going to lie. I feel like Max has so much to lose that I don't think I'll pull the plug on his site because I'm just not that kind of person. Although I think if I did, I don't think anybody would think that I was in the wrong to do so.
I would consider it a supererogatory thing. I think Destiny actively choosing to not pull Mr. Girl's site over this shows that he is making a supererogatory action. But it's seriously something that I believe is admirable of somebody's character. I thought about this before. Would Destiny pull the plug? I consider it kind of similar to other situations, but if Destiny is willing to pull the plug on somebody who is doing him dirty, doing him wrong, doing something pretty terrible to him, then that's perfectly within his right. But if he chooses not to, I think that is a very good display of this man's character. And so genuinely, that was something that I was concerned about when I heard this news. Is Destiny going to make the active decision to do it? And if he doesn't, then I think that's a very good showing of his character being really good. That he sticks to the idea that if somebody wants to be provided a service, they can. But he can do it if he wants. He can. But I think it is I think you can have people do terrible things to you, or from your perspective, do terrible things to you. Again, case is not closed on it. And still provide them with those services and shit like that. But anyway, the chronological order is Destiny call, Mr. Girl call, Discord VOD. Got it. I don't know. A lot of the Discord call was irrelevant, just memes. There was some interesting things, but for the most part, it's just mid. Got it. This is Mr. Girl's stream for later. All right.
I can see his income. I see like everything he does on the back end of his site that is like running my shit. Like I could have just pulled the plug on that. I don't know why. I don't know why he would think it like. But then I guess even just saying that, does that make me sound abusive? Like I have no idea. I don't know what the expectations are. Something that I was gonna go off on.
Okay. Stop. Hold on. Let's just say this. Let's because I keep getting linked tertiary things. First off, let me just get through Destiny's VOD. This is gonna be the last time I get distracted by tertiary things, unless it's logs, like hard logs of interactions between Destiny or Mr. Girl and with the women in question or something. If you have logs or evidence like that, link them to me incessantly. I want those. But this is gonna be the last thing that I go on a separate thing of. Teehee, I take it back. XD, oopsie. No opinions about it. I retract the Weinstein statement, but I want everyone to think about why it's okay. Like this is no, you just retract the Weinstein statement. That's what it is. You cringe. It's just fucking cringe. The flip flop, yes. The Teehee, XD, oopsie. Everyone, but I want everyone to think about why what's okay in relation to sleeping with coworkers, employees, or colleagues. Just stop with the employee thing. It's cringe. You're fucking retarded. Stop with the employee thing. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. 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 Stop with the employee thing. You are fucking stupid. You don't know how these interactions work. Stop with the employee thing. God, it's so infuriating. I hate the fucking employee thing. We are not his employees. I am not Destiny's employee. As much